You ever catch someone so deep in their own delusions of power, you wonder if they even know what planet they're on? Because let me tell you, seeing Barbara Caldwell, our HOA president, jam a golden master key into my truck and then look me dead in the eye like she owns the universe? That right there was a new one, even for Pine Valley. She glances up, doesn't flinch, just says, "I have absolute authority over every vehicle in this community." Like that's a normal thing to declare, right? I had about 100 different responses on the tip of my tongue, but I just kept it. Calm, deadly calm. You've probably seen her type, power tripping over garden gnomes, fake citations for wind chimes, shaming folks for their mailbox height. But this was different. This was her caught red-handed, sweating through her blouse, mangling a key in my lock, acting like the queen of the HOA. My old law enforcement instincts kicked in, 15 years dealing with every flavor of crazy. You develop a sixth sense for when something's about to go off the rails. So I get out of my truck, nice and slow, and ask, "Ma'am, what exactly are you doing to my vehicle?" She snaps that key out so fast, I'm half surprised it doesn't break. Clutches it like she's about to win a trophy, and announces, "Routine HOA Vehicle Compliance Inspection. I'm Barbara Caldwell, president of the Pine Valley Homeowners Association, and this inspection falls within my jurisdictional authority." She actually has this leather holster, no joke, full of gold-plated keys, shiny enough to see your own regret in. She fans them out like she's auditioning for some weird, HOA-themed Harry Potter spinoff. "Master access to all community properties," she says, "every gate, every mailbox, and yes, every vehicle parked on HOA property." She really believes it, too. You can see it in her eyes, the conviction of someone who's probably practiced that line in the mirror every morning for years. And now, caught in the act, she just doubles down. "I'm checking for parking regulation violations, making sure all vehicles meet our comprehensive safety standards. It's in the covenants you all signed." Except, of course, it isn't. I push a little. "Show me the specific covenant section that lets you do this," I say, still calm. For a split second, her smile falters. She fumbles with some folder, papers rustling, keys jangling, searching for proof she knows doesn't exist. "I don't answer to residents about HOA policy implementation," she snaps, now dropping the act. "You answer to me." Now, if you've ever dealt with a bully, you know what happens next. The show escalates. The mask comes off. I see her whole strategy, the intimidation, the legal-sounding gibberish, the way she frames any question as an attack on community harmony. She expects everyone to just fold. But before I can press further, Mrs. Parker, my neighbor, sharp as a tack, probably watched this circus from her window, opens her screen door and steps out. Barbara's shoulders tense up. She glances at Mrs. Parker like she just spotted the principal walking down the hall. Mrs. Parker asks, "Barbara, what's all that noise about?" in this sweet, steady voice. Barbara tries to act patient, but you can hear the nerves. "Official HOA business, Margaret. Nothing for you to worry about." Mrs. Parker just gives me this look, one of those silent, "I've got your back" glances, and parks herself on her porch. Barbara knows the private intimidation show is over, and she starts shoving her papers away, voice sharp. I hold my ground. "This is my private vehicle. Please don't touch it again." The challenge hangs in the air. Barbara, of course, isn't used to pushback. "We'll see about that," she says, cold as a January frost. HOA authority supersedes individual preferences in all matters of safety and property maintenance. She stomps off, declaring she'll finish her inspection when it's more convenient for official business. Her threat's not lost on anyone. She slams her door, but Mrs. Parker just shakes her head, sighing like she's seen this movie before. The air feels like a storm's about to break. I know. Right then, Barbara's not done. That key she bent trying to break into my truck? That's a warning shot. She's going to escalate. Fast forward to Friday night. I'm on my porch with a beer, staring at Barbara's cabin and trying to decompress. Mrs. Parker shows up with a tray of coffee. "Kevin," she says, first time she's used my name since I moved here. "Inherited this cabin after Dad passed. Mind if I bring some neighbors over? Think it's time you learn what you're really up against." Within minutes, my quiet evening turns into an accidental support group. Mr. Wilson, the Andersons, a couple others. Everyone's got a Barbara story. Mr. Wilson's still angry about the time she tried to break into his shed, calling it a structural inspection. The Andersons? They caught her at the hardware store making copies of their house keys, claiming it was for emergency HOA access. Not a hint of shame, just straight-faced, bureaucratic insanity. Mrs. Parker's got it all documented, a notebook full of fake citations, threats, garden violations, windshield complaints. Chalk drawings treated like federal crimes. For families driven out. Anyone who pushes back, Barbara ramps up the harassment. Threats of legal action, fines, emergency board meetings. The psychological warfare is real. And the worst part? Most folks here are too intimidated to fight back. She's gaslit the entire neighborhood into thinking they're the crazy ones for questioning her. But something changes that night. People start connecting the dots. The collective weight of Barbara's reign of terror finally pushes folks to talk openly, to realize they're not alone. And as we're talking, you can see lights moving in Barbara's cabin. She's pacing, probably watching us, spinning her own paranoid narrative. Bullies always think resistance is conspiracy. At 8:15, Barbara storms out, dressed to the nines in her official blazer and badge, golden keys clanging like she's leading a parade. Illegal assembly, she yells at us from across the yard. Noise violation. Emergency fines for everyone. She's got a stack of citation forms ready, like she carries them just in case neighbors dare to talk without her permission. But Mrs. Parker, she's done. Stands tall, voice steady. Barbara, this is my property. I'll host whoever I choose. For the first time, Barbara looks shaken. Residents aren't folding. She waves her papers. Blusters about organized rebellion. Sputters threats, but nobody's backing down. When I calmly ask her to show us these ordinances in writing, her eyes go wild. I don't have to prove anything. My word is law. She yells she'll call an emergency board meeting, storms back to her cabin. The next day, the whole community gathers for Barbara's emergency HOA meeting at the community center. She's posted dramatic signs, emergency security threat assessment, criminal element infiltration. She hands out evidence, packets, photos of my truck parked legally, timelines of supposed violations. She spins a wild story about my aggressive behavior, illegal assemblies, threats to community stability. She's even faked signatures. But the residents, now awake, now united, don't buy it. Mrs. Parker quietly, firmly sets the record straight. The HOA treasurer suggests, maybe, just maybe, they consult legal counsel before expelling anyone. Barbara loses it, papers flying, golden keys waving, shrieking that real authority can't wait for bureaucratic delays. She tears up her own documents, yells about conspiracies, and finally stomps out, threatening to show everyone what real leadership looks like. That night, things get stranger. Barbara is up late, calling background check services, convinced I'm a secret criminal. By dusk, a tow truck rumbles in. Barbara's waving another fake citation, trying to get my pickup hauled away. The driver, thank God, actually checks my registration and refuses. I need a court order, ma'am. He says, already packing up. Barbara is left standing in the street, fuming, residents watching from their porches. Later, in front of a crowd, Barbara pulls out actual lock-picking tools, shows them off, says she's used them before, declares she'll break into my truck for community safety. Mrs. Parker gasps, other neighbors pull out their phones, and Barbara just doesn't care. Extraordinary measures, she says. No more games. She stomps home, slamming her door. So Sunday afternoon, I'm sitting on my porch, tension so thick you could carve it. I'd set up cameras around my truck, just in case. Wouldn't you know it, Barbara shows up, right on cue, lockpicks in hand, trying to break in. I park, film the whole thing. Ma'am, step away from my vehicle, I call out. She spins around, caught, lockpicks in hand, panic written all over her face. But even then, she can't accept reality. I was conducting a security inspection, she yells, waving the tools. Neighbors are gathering, documenting, eyes wide. Mr. Wilson steps forward, voice shaking with anger. Those are burglary tools, Barbara. That's a felony. Barbara's response. She calls 911. On herself, while holding the evidence. Tells the dispatcher I'm threatening her, that I'm hiding something. Spins a wild tale. Mrs. Parker chimes in loud enough for the dispatcher to hear. That's not true. She's lying. Barbara loses it, tries to kick the tools away. He planted them. Sirens blare. 2 patrol cars roll in, real law enforcement. Barbara runs up, tries to frame me as the criminal, but the officers see the lockpicks, the damage, the crowd of witnesses, the video evidence. I hand over my ID and, well, my sheriff's badge. Officer Bradley takes a long look. Sheriff Roberts? Suddenly the tone changes. Barbara's jaw drops. He's impersonating an officer. No sheriff would live in a rundown cabin. But dispatch confirms it. I am who I say I am. And now, Barbara's just committed a felony against the county sheriff's property. The officers do their job, collect statements, review the video, bag up the burglary tools. Barbara's still screaming about conspiracies and abuse of power as they cuff her, place her in the back of the patrol car. Her collection of golden keys is confiscated as evidence. Residents, who've suffered for months, stand silent. Watching the show, there's this sense of release, like the whole neighborhood's been holding its breath for a year and can finally let it out. 2 weeks later, Pine Valley feels like a different place. Barbara pled out, probation, fines, a restraining order, forced to sell her cabin and leave the county. Mrs. Parker is now the new HOA president. Actual bylaws get rewritten to protect residents, and those golden keys are destroyed. The old intimidation games are over. Neighbors are fixing up their places. Families who left are coming back. For the first time, you can actually hear laughter on the breeze, not just whispers of fear. So here's the thing, real authority? It's not about keys or threats. It's about trust, competence, respect. Barbara learned that the hard way. Now she does her community service at the county courthouse, watched by the same officers she used to threaten with fake citations. In Pine Valley, we're finally living the peaceful life we came here for. Kids draw on sidewalks, wind chimes sing in the pines, and nobody's afraid to host a barbecue. But let me ask you, where's the line between authority and abuse? How do you stop the next? Barbara, before it gets this far? Drop your thoughts below. Ever had a run-in with a bully hiding behind a badge or title? Let's hear your stories, and maybe, just maybe, we'll keep each other a little safer next time.